comfortable with where this is going? Yes, okay. Let me ask the Buttonwood, oh, where did she go? She's right here. Sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that we don't lose quorum and that we can at least conclude this item, because if we leave, then it comes back and then there won't be a motion about consultation, et cetera, right? Were you here when I first read? Can you post it? Can you type it out and post it? Oh, make it much bigger. I'm too young, too old to see it. It basically said that it's deferred to allow further consultations and consideration with the local community, Somali community, and city staff. And I just want to make sure that folks are comfortable with it. The councilors are, I assume you are okay with it. The Buttonwood community?
Consultation on what?
Oh, this item, I could,
Big item.
consideration regarding the Somali Center for Culture and Recreation. Okay? Yep. I can't quite do that. I'm already breaking some rules. Further consultation consideration of this, regarding this item, okay? Okay, if you can just add that in, just to be very clear. But normally it's about this item in front of us. Okay, that's the piece. So I just made it more clearer. So Councillor Holiday, he can speak on behalf of you folks if you want. So to the deputants that we have not heard, we will keep you on the list. If this item comes back, I assume you will want to speak to it. If that's okay, council members, are you okay with this approach? Okay. Councillor Holiday?
Mayor, if I may speak, and
yes, please.
Give me your rule on if it's 3 minutes or 5, so I'll adhere to the time.
Normally it's 5, I believe. Okay. My understanding is 5.
I'll be
go ahead.
Economical with my time, so I just thank you for the opportunity to speak. I think that the members of the committee should understand that the process is what has brought the community here. Mm-hmm. There's many layers to this matter. We've heard from a lot of people, but if you don't realize you have awakened a giant in Etobicoke. I had my community environment day on the weekend, and this is all I heard about. And that's okay. I mean, what you've seen, 7 days is what I want to leave the committee with. That's how long the public, the broader public, has had to digest what is before them. The most sensitive thing that you can open up with a community is a change to the local park, because it is so important to them. Councillor Moyse asked about, what is this? It's 3 acres. It's 3 Yonge and Dundas squares, nestled within a local community that has enjoyed the open space for decades, probably longer than I've been alive. So I cannot underscore enough the urgency of the message that they brought you. I tried my best at council to let council know that a public park had to be put into the public domain. And I know there was a lot of discussion about leasing and concerns about keeping things confidential as part of process, but it finally came out as I thought. So to bring this back around to the deferral, I know from the community they understand there's not a lot of time between now and then. This is the right of the committee and the purview of the committee. I just ask that if you're going to do that, to use every moment of that time as meaningfully as possible to engage with the community at a very difficult time in the year. Otherwise, because the heart of this issue is about process and about democracy, I want to make sure that the deferral tries to address that in a positive way rather than a negative one, and it doesn't appear to be futile or without utility. So that is the best counsel I can offer to this committee as the local representative. And the person that has received the brunt of hundreds of emails, and I don't mean form emails, and over 100 phone calls in a voicemail box that won't even take messages any longer, because people are so concerned and so upset with how this issue unfolded that they haven't even figured out how to react to it. Other than like any major development proposal, they have to go through a process to digest it and understand it. There's little knowledge available. You've seen community members come out speaking on behalf of thousands, and I can say that because I've seen it, of people that expect a better process from City Hall. And if I can leave you with one message, and Mayor, you touched upon it, was an examination of the process and how and why the location of such a monumental change had to be kept under wraps when it ultimately turned out to be a local developed park. And the gravity of that, I want to leave with this group. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Holiday. Councillor Perks, I assume you're going to take carriage of...
Yeah, I'll take carriage of the motion. So I'm moving that we defer this to give room for the consultation and consideration. And I want to thank Councillor Holiday for being quite gracious about going along with this and for sharing his experience with his community. And all of us know that from time to time there's some issue that comes up about a public resource changing use, and it can get very, very fraught. And particularly a park. I've had some experience with changing the use of a park recently. And just, I think it's important that folks understand a little bit about how we decide to keep an item in confidence. Without going into the details of that, there are a couple pieces. Our city solicitors carefully monitor what information we can discuss in public, and there are very specific rules written in law. Real estate transactions being one of them, confidential matters about an identifiable individual, et cetera, et cetera. And all of that is tested and monitored. And when the city solicitor writes us a piece of advice and says you can't share that, it always explains why. I think part of the complication here is in previous administrations, some functions of the city were put into standalone corporations that sit outside the city, in this case, Create TO. And it gets more complicated when it's a separate corporation doing some of the work instead of it done by city staff. I've always believed you do those functions in-house, but in this instance, for that reason, there was this complication. There was not an effort by anyone to disguise the proposed use. That was not the issue. We're not allowed to do that. There's actually a privacy monitor who looks at all the decisions we make about debating things in camera. So I know that when surprises show up, the mind goes to where the mind goes. But please be assured we're under very strict rules here about what we're allowed to see that we don't show the public, and this issue about a third-party corporation, even if we owned it, being involved in a real estate issue was the test here. And with that, I'll move the item, or move the amendment.
Any other speaker? If not, thank you for your, thank you for saying. All those in, can you show the recommendations on the screen? All those in favor of this deferral? Approved, thank you.
That's the item. We're done.
And I see no other items in front of us. Councillor Perks just move adjournment. Thank you. All those in favor, opposed?
Just one second.
guy, I wanna go to your wedding. Are you married yet? Not yet. Let's have a new wedding.